Ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy Tochi, chilling live here on Spirit Live. Huh. Melody Hill was one of those things that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to do a radio show. The opportunity came around when I started going to Ryerson, and then they mentioned that they were going to do a radio show, and they wanted from first year students to sign up for it. And I said, wow, this is like a perfect opportunity for it. So shout out to Wayne. Basically what happened was, I sent him an email saying I wanted to do like a hip hop show. I must have gone through something like, I don't know, like 5 names for it. At first I think I wanted to call it Raw Radio because I wanted to do something that was like hip hop. But I then also wanted to do stuff that has had like a bit of jazz or a bit of, movie soundtrack and stuff because I like listening to a lot of that type of music. And I didn't want it to just be a straight hip hop show, especially since I was doing a lot of the throwback hip hop. I'm talking about stuff from the 90s, things like that, Wu-Tang, Nas, Mobb Deep. So my style was, okay, it can't be too raw in a sense to scare away people who would want to listen to like movie soundtrack and stuff like that in R&B. So I tried to think of something that was a little sweeter in terms of the name. So then I thought about it and I said, okay, if I'm going to do like something of that nature, maybe I should, do a radio show that had like, all that mixed in. And I thought, I was listening to a lot of Lauryn Hill at the time, and then I thought, okay, Melody Hill. And because, the show is gonna be about melody and things like that and good melody, so I thought, okay, that's the name of the show. And that's how I came up with the name Melody Hill. Melody Hill has been running for about a year now. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's just doing pretty well so far. We've got a good, small number of people, but a lot of people are listening into the show, and it's a lot of fun actually. I've even done like, every week I'll do something different. Like I'll do samples, for example. Like I did a little thing with comparing old samples from like, for example, Stevie Wonder, and then comparing it to new records that use Stevie Wonder samples, like Jamal, Keep It Real, that was done by Eric Sermon. So stuff like that, I always throw it back and say, okay, the 90s hip hop and the 80s hip hop, they got them from this and that sample. So I'll do things like that. I'll do sample collections. I did a little thing one time where it was about sort of beats that I thought were wasted. So like, when you hear like, you're listening to a track, you're like, wow, man, this beat's hype. You're listening to it, and then the beat comes on and it's like, wow, fire. And then the MC comes on and you're just like, man, this is garbage. So, and the dude is just wasting the beat. So, and that happens in hip hop enough. So I collected a whole list of all those things and I put them in to have them on the show and things like that. So, just have people listening on things I think are wasted beats. That's pretty much how Melody Hill has been operating. Every week, I usually plan in advance about what I want to do with the show. And then I'll have like viewer input. So like I'll let my listeners know, hey, if you guys have any tracks you want to hear, then you can play it. So those are things that I like to do. Overall, I guess my opinion of hip hop right now is that it's not really at the creative tip that I want it to be at. I find artists aren't really doing it for me. Like for example, when I first heard certain joints like Nas's Like and things like that, those are huge records for me, right? Interesting thing about me in a sense is because I used to live abroad. So when I used to live in the Middle East, I was in Saudi Arabia and I was listening to a lot of rap actually in Saudi, surprisingly. And this was back in the days when you had Real Player, and Real Player was like that program everybody had because they put it up on the websites, and I'm downloading at like 2 kilobytes a second or something slow. And there was a guy who used to update like a page of records every week or something like that. And I remember just listening to artists, on really crappy quality because Real Player is not the greatest quality in the world. But having a list of records and not even knowing what those people look like. Like I heard Rakim first time, I didn't know who Rakim was. I didn't even know I just heard the sound and I was like, I really like this record. So that's what I mean really about hip hop. I find like it's too over marketed now to the point where the music is really being compromised. Before, and I've even read interviews of guys, who came out in the 80s and things like that. When they were listening to hip hop, sometimes they didn't even know what the person looked like. but the music just had that perfect picture. Like you could listen to the music and be like, oh, okay, this is kind of what this person looks like, or this music goes in this kind of certain category. So I wish like music in general, not just hip hop, but I think music in general, I wish it would return to more of an atmospheric kind of vibe where, you know, just paints a picture, like tells a story or something. Something you can take away from the record. You know, so that's kind of my thing right now with hip hop. It is global, and I'm happy that artists can tour right now and go worldwide and kind of, you know, I guess get money. It's good to see older artists like, you know, like Beatnuts and Method Man, Redman, and them being able to go overseas and they have a huge population, because I listen to hip hop from overseas and I'm a massive fan of it. You know, I even got into hip hop because I had a friend, Palestinian friend, who was into hip hop. So at this stage, I think one of the great things is that a lot of the good stuff from the 80s and 90s has really reached beyond North America to the point where people don't even realize. And it really is worldwide. So I would like to see artists really get back to that, because that's the stuff that lasts, right? I mean, would you rather be an artist that's hot right now and then broke for the rest of your life? Or an artist that's like, okay, doing a little well right now, but you're still calling out quality music and you can live off that for the rest of your life, right? Otherwise, with Melody Hill, I'm just basically trying to come out with some projects. So, you know, I'm trying to bring some new artists from Toronto, hopefully, and also worldwide as well. So if if you like my show, or if you are interested in submitting some music to me, by all means do so. This last year that passed with Melody Hill, what I ended up doing was playing a lot of the classic records. So stuff from like Illmatic, Cuban Links, and things like that. And just to give people a grounding in terms of what is really like the golden age and the pillar of like hip hop music and why hip hop is really still respected. Now I would like to kind of bring out some new artists, hopefully, or at least introduce people to new artists that, you know, I think can bring back some of the quality. Not that they have to do exactly what people did in the 90s, because the 90s is gone. Like, you know, it's like all things, right? That era is past. But you want to take the foundations of what was good in the 90s and just improve on it, right? So I'm hoping to do that and bring some artists out and promote that as well, just to, you know, help, I guess, bring in my side of the hip hop game and try and help things out on that front. And also, I guess, do some video projects, things like that, like, you know, do a couple of interviews, you know, so if you're a legendary rapper of some form, I probably will get at you at some point, especially if you're in the Toronto, Canada area, just so that we can talk and link and things like that. You know, just come out with some video projects that some of my Melody Hill fans will appreciate. So that's what is coming up on the radar, and you guys should be looking out for that soon. This is Tochi, and you're watching Melody Hill Radio Productions. Make sure you guys are on the website, join the Facebook group. Big things are going to be happening for Melody Hill, all right? 1.